Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This evening I'm going to be doing another movie review. This movie is a horror film from Chile, Spanish language English subs, released in the year 2023, directed by Patricio Valladares, and this film is called Invoking Yell. So Invoking Yell is a found footage horror film. It's about a band called Invoking Yell. They're a death metal band and they want to make it big. And so there are three females in this band. They venture into the woods because they're going to shoot a demo tape. Now this demo tape, it's not going to go the way that they expect, because there's something in the woods that's going to influence them to a point where things are going to become dangerous. And so what happens at that point on is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Invoking Yell. There are a few reasons I wanted to see this movie. Number one, it's a South American horror film, and you guys know that I love South America. Number two, Chile is actually known for the more extreme side of horror. So there have been a few movies out that come from Chile that haven't been great, but they've been memorable because of how extreme they are. And so when it comes to South America, you think of Argentina, Brazil, Colombian films. Chile definitely stands out as, you know, the more offensive type of movies. Hidden in the Woods, but also by Patricio Valladares. You have numerous other films that have really taken the world by storm by how extreme they are, but you have to go in there with a little bit of caution, because extremity doesn't equal a very good movie, and that is something that you really have to keep an eye on. But it's definitely something that invokes interest. And so this was a movie that I thought, alright, well, I want to go and see this film because of the fact Chile actually have a name for themselves. And number three, it is Patricio Valladares. Now, he is not a great director. He's a director that hasn't won me over, but I appreciate the fact that he is extreme. Hidden in the Woods was a very, very provocative film. Downhill was a movie that wasn't great, but I actually had a little bit of fun with that film. And so that was something that I thought, alright, well, that's enough to make me want to go and see Invoking Yell. It's a found footage horror film as well, and that was another reason to actually want to go and see it. So I had my fingers crossed that this was going to be somewhat memorable, or at the very least, worth my time to actually see. I saw the trailer. I thought, this is a death metal film, death metal combined with a very extreme director. This is going to be, fingers crossed, a decent experience. But after watching Invoking Yell, I will say that it's one of the most disappointing movies I've seen in a very, very long time, because the movie just doesn't really go anywhere. Now, if I have positives, they are very, very minimal. I thought as though the old setting, death metal, in the forest, there's a certain sense of curiosity there, but it's very minuscule, because overall it's just a movie that just amounts to absolutely nothing. It's a very, very boring film, and I was waiting for the payoff. I was waiting for that payoff of sheer extremity and brutal nastiness, but it just never comes across as something that you would expect from this director. So this director's made a name for himself, but it's almost like he's lost his identity in Invoking Yell and just doesn't know where to take this film. So the characters I thought were non-existent. I just didn't really care about whether or not they lived or died. I thought as though the situation they found themselves in was just very boring and dull, and when it comes time for the horror set pieces, it's just not scary. So it's not scary, it's somewhat creepy. There are moments that are a little bit creepy, but it does lack atmosphere. The dialogue is very uninteresting, and I just didn't really care what happened. And so it's a movie that goes for 84 minutes, but it feels like 384 minutes, because it just goes around in circles. It just doesn't know where it wants to, what it wants to be. The lack of identity is very obvious, and because of that lack of identity, you just come across as a movie that's a complete waste of time. I don't know what Patricio Valladares was thinking making this film. It goes against his trademark of being that provocateur, being that director who is going to stick his middle finger up at the PC crowd and make movies that are going to really push the limits. This movie, the only limits that this movie pushes is really the patience of the viewer. So you're expecting something very big, but unfortunately Patricio Valladares in this instance fails to deliver on what he does best, and what he does best is the extremity. So his other films have that extremity, although the storytelling does lack to some degree in his other films. I just thought as though the extremity was missing in this movie. So if you are a fan of this director, you're going to be bitterly disappointed that he fails to deliver on the extreme side of things, and failing to deliver on a solid story, you're just left thinking, why does this movie exist? And unfortunately, I just don't have any reason as to why this movie exists. The positives are very, very minute, and in the end what you get is just a complete waste of time. So I'm not going to recommend this film. I'm only going to give this one half a star. Definitely disappointing. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.